All right, in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about r/Conspiracy and what has transpired with the new tab over, say, the last year to 2 years, but really in the past year or so. It's hard for me to pinpoint exactly when it transpired, but it happened within that window not too long ago. Specifically, what I'm referring to here is there was a time when this subreddit was functioning correctly, which meant that the new tab was updated in real time. What I mean by this is there are allegedly 2 million users on this forum, and at any given point in time, there's 4,000 to 6,000 registered users actively online. As a result of that many people frequenting one subreddit, the posts would be pretty rapid in terms of how often they were submitted as a new post. And if you're on the new tab, you get a constant stream of each post as it's submitted in sequential order in terms of the timing of it. So you can see here it says 40 minutes ago, this was the last post. And those of you who have used Reddit for a long time, especially this forum in particular, you will know that it never used to be 40 minutes that would go by before a new post would show up. We're talking minute to minute, there would be a new post to go through. And that's just on a regular day. If there was some kind of event that had transpired, some kind of breaking news, I mean, you can expect a rapid barrage of new posts coming through. To the point where it was difficult to even keep up with how much used to be posted here. I remember there were times pre-pandemic, 2017 to 2018, around there, and then I guess even into 2019, where I would see what the latest post was in the morning before I went to work, and then by the time that I got home 9-10 hours later, whatever it was, and I clicked the new tab again to see what would happen, I would have some anxiety about that because I'd sit there thinking, oh man, there's going to be so much that I have to catch up on. This is going to take me a couple hours to go through all of this. And that would just be after 9 or 10 hours. I mean, if you went 2 days without checking it, you would really feel that anxiety. Oh man, I'm going to have to spend all night going through all of these new posts and see what's going on and to get the lay of the land and figure out what's happening, what they're trying to promote, what the latest propaganda talking points are. On and on it goes, right? When you're trying to news gather in this way. Because, of course, this is one of the last sites on the internet where you can post things relatively freely. You can post something that goes against the approved narratives for the most part. There's always exceptions to that. We all know what you can and cannot talk about in those ways. In the same way that I know right now, I can't even say it on YouTube, right? So we all know the rules we have to follow if we want our videos to stay up, or in this case, if we want our posts to stay up. But still, back in those days, there is no way that you would click new 43 minutes ago and there would be no new post in that point in time. Now you can go a whole day without checking what's been posted, 24, 48 hours, and you're caught up in 20 minutes because there's only 25, 30 posts. Now, of course, there will be the logical explanations for why this has transpired that will point away from any type of censorship or manipulation. People will say, well, r/Conspiracy is dying like every other forum eventually dies. All of the censorship that it's been exposed to, the bots and the shills, it's driven the organic users away and nobody wants to post anymore. And sure, there's a little bit of that going on. I don't know what else to say other than you know what I mean if you've been on this website for a long time. You know that they've done something to the new feed. And part of doing this video is to kind of create a place where we can talk about that. If you have some kind of observation along those lines. Also, it's just useful to document these things so there's a history of it. We know that it happened, and they can't completely whitewash it away at a certain point and pretend like it's just always been this way. But most importantly, I see this as a good thing. And you're kind of probably thinking, wait, what? How is it a good thing if they're censoring the ability of people to interact in real time? Now, this is just a theory of mine. This is just an intuition of mine based on what I have observed. So take it with a grain of salt. However, what I think transpired is during the pandemic, the new feed was functioning so well in terms of us exchanging information with each other that we actually did some damage to the propaganda that they were attempting to distribute to everyone. I think the new feed was being used so productively by those of us who were doing this, constantly scrolling for information about the pandemic, constantly figuring out what was going on, connecting dots. We were so effective at that in its aftermath, they said, okay, we can't let that happen anymore because that was genuinely doing damage to our propaganda machine. And going forward, we can't have that transpiring. So I see it as a good thing, as evidence that we were actually doing something that was effective. Obviously, it's never a good thing when you get censored and they take an ability like that away. But, see the silver lining with it. Knowledge about what's going on is becoming so widespread that a mainstream forum like r/Conspiracy is capable of being used to impact the agenda that they are trying to implement. Yes, of course, there are shills everywhere, but that's every forum that's ever existed. Every single conspiracy forum has the problem of shills, so it always cracks me up when people complain and they say, oh my gosh, it's never been so bad. It's just kind of like, man, you just haven't been around long enough. Every forum that's ever existed is the exact same. There's always been shills, and there will always be shills. No matter where your forum is, if you're talking about the things we talk about, there's going to be shills. You just have to accept that. It's not a big deal. Because when you get to a certain level of awareness, they don't even matter. I just filter them out immediately because I read 2 sentences and it's like, okay, you're not serious. Next. You're not serious. Next. Okay, you're trying to manipulate in that direction. Next. Seen that before. And you just move through it like it's not even there. Sure, it slows other people down who aren't quite at that level, but that's all a part of the process. They have to learn to see for themselves by going through it. So it's been 50 minutes now since the last time I updated new. Let's see if anything comes up. Still no new post. And it's about 11 p.m. on the East Coast on a Saturday night. This is prime time when stuff used to be posted. Almost an hour going by without a single new post coming through. That is not normal. And it's been like this for almost a year, I want to say. It's been I can't pinpoint exactly. It just happened out of nowhere. At the same time, they kind of flooded the comment section with more shills, we'll call them, than normal. They kind of changed their strategy where they had debunkers in the comment section more than usual all of a sudden. So you went from this discussion that was usually taking place that would be obvious in terms of it was the majority of the discussion that was going on was people talking about the actual issue in the original post. Whereas now the majority are people debunking the stuff in the original post. It's a very weird change they did, and it could be bots, it could be people paid to sit online and do that kind of thing. It's probably some mix in the middle, as these things tend to be, but sure, things have changed on this forum in the same way they always do, the same trajectory it always takes, but this is one of the most important things that I wanted to highlight because this is how you keep up on the news in a way that is not influenced by what's put out there via the mainstream websites. And maybe if we get enough pressure on Reddit about this issue, we can get it back to the way that it used to be. Okay, check this out. I had to take a break there because I reached 15 minutes. And I had to start the whole thing over again. And look at how they gaslight us now. They changed the time to just now, a minute ago. These are the posts that said 50 minutes right before. Let's see what happens if I hit new again. See how it went to 17 minutes ago and it says just now? Unbelievable. This wasn't 17 minutes ago the last time I had it up. It was 50 minutes ago. So this is what I mean. It's a very clear thing that has transpired here where they are intentionally stopping the flow of new posts that are put up here. Because for those of you who don't know, all of these other tabs are very tightly controlled. Like top, for example, there's all kinds of spam accounts that get put on the top page, or it's a part of the agenda that they want to promote, so they let those accounts get to the top. And of course, you can get a unique user's post up there every once in a while, but usually it's all these accounts that are approved that get to those places. It's the same thing that happens with Rising and Hot. It's very controlled, and the only one that isn't in the way that the other ones are is New. And that's why it's such a powerful tool, because you know there's no censorship. It's just in the order that they come in, the posts are made. And that's how you catch all the really interesting stuff that's posted by real people. Which is why, again, I'm raising awareness about this, because it needs to be more well known what they have done, because this is such a useful resource as far as us exchanging information with each other. And that's very important. Because we all have our own strengths and weaknesses. Some of you might watch my videos and think, oh my gosh, I could never do that myself. But you have to understand that I couldn't do a lot of the videos that I do without things like this. Because I'm always looking at the big picture. I'm thinking of things on a large scale. So I'm paying attention to a wide variety of things. In other words, I don't have the time to dive deep into a lot of different subjects. I have to get the gist of a lot of different things so that I can place it within the larger context. Therefore, someone like me needs other people diving deep into things in a way that I can't do it, and then reporting back on what they found from that deep dive and kind of distilling it down for someone like me. So it's a team effort kind of thing. Your posts on the internet are just as important as any video that I put out, and I wouldn't be able to do a lot of my videos without them. Before going forward, if you want to know more about the history of our conspiracy and Reddit, if all of this is sounding like a foreign language, there's a good documentary on Odyssey titled Reddit Conspiracies, COVID, and Coups by the handle Found Ring. And that's like a ring on your finger and the lost and found. Put those two words together, Found Ring. And this title, and you'll come across the documentary, it's 3 hours long, and you can get an idea of how a honeypot begins. A forum that's controlled on one level, but they also let it kind of roam in its own direction, so they kind of keep tabs on what everybody is thinking, and they can control the narrative in that way. They know how they need to respond, they know what they need to tweak, and that's what I mean. Every honeypot that's ever been created goes down the same road. It's the same trajectory, how it starts, where it's in the middle, and then how it eventually ends up with everyone leaving. Because it's effectively been ruined. But maybe we can squeeze a few more years out of Reddit, even if they keep this algorithm going on the new tab, doing whatever it does to stop the feed and to slow us down. We can still exchange information, it's just going to take a lot longer. Especially in a breaking news type of event. But that's about all that I wanted to get to. We're still now, 5 minutes ago, this same post from an hour ago is on the screen here. Let's see if we got anything new. No, still not anything new. And that was interesting. It went back to 17 minutes and then it said 5 minutes ago now. So something very weird and obviously controlled going on here with how they're stopping the new feed and backing it up, for lack of a better term, on purpose. And again, if you have any information on this or something that you can contribute along these lines, please add it in the comments so we can start a little pressure to get this remedied, let's say. That's it for now. Later.